The allegations of what India has done on Canadian soil represent an outrageous assault on Canada's sovereignty and are completely unacceptable. Foreign interference from any country, as we know, including from India, must be put to a stop. The first job of the Prime Minister and Canadians and the Canadian government is to keep citizens safe from foreign threats. That is the first job of the Prime Minister and the Canadian government. And the first job of the official opposition, of course, is to hold the government accountable for their ability or lack thereof to prevent foreign interference and to keep Canadians and people in Canada safe from foreign threats. And we certainly expect the full criminal prosecution of anyone who has threatened, murdered, or otherwise harmed Canadian citizens or people on Canadian soil. And the Public Safety and National Security Committee, as we know, has the responsibility to look promptly into this matter in a professional manner and thoroughly on behalf of Canadians and all those who have suffered in Canada as a result of the federal government failing to prevent foreign interference over these last number of years. So, Mr. Chair, I just did want to mention that the Conservatives on this committee and the official opposition at large certainly take this matter very seriously and are deeply concerned that the situation under the Liberal Prime Minister continues to worsen for Canadians. It is shocking to learn that there are, as per the RCMP, 13 individuals who are facing an imminent threat, as bad as murder potentially, from a foreign government, notably from India. So we are very seized with this issue as Conservatives, and certainly on this committee we are, of course, reviewing the motion put forward by Mr. McGregor. We thank him for bringing forward his 1064 letter, and of course we're keen to sign it so that this committee can look into this matter very thoroughly.
For the Sikh community, this is something they've been advocating for more than 40 years. And this is the allegations that were made by the RCMP on Monday were more of a vindication of what the advocacy has been going on for the last 40 years.
It's the contention of the Conservative Party of Canada that we need to release all those names so that we can take appropriate action and move on. We strongly believe that a motion like this, which attempts to force the hand of all federal leaders on the security clearance front, is an attempt to muzzle the leader of the opposition from speaking out on the very important issue of foreign interference. We have to remember, myself, I was raising the issue of foreign interference at this committee years ago, and we were assured repeatedly by ministers of this government that foreign interference was not taking place in Canada's election. We were being reassured that foreign interference was not serious in Canada. This was just 2 years ago. And due to leaks from CSIS and our security agencies, and we have now come to learn that that was not the case, that there has been widespread allegations of foreign interference. And sadly today, with the recent RCMP announcement on Monday, it's escalated to the lives of Canadians being threatened allegedly by a foreign government. And how has this been allowed to happen after 9 years? Like, I remember back in 2015 working in the previous government that this would have been unheard of, that foreign governments were threatening the lives of Canadian citizens.
The Prime Minister is trying to distract from the fact that he has an ongoing revolt in his caucus looking to overthrow him. So it's no wonder why he's doing this, but certainly if he continues, as my colleague said, to weaponize this, then he should release the names, because Canadians deserve to know who it is in Parliament right now or in the past who has been undermining the national interest on purpose to aid a foreign country. They absolutely deserve to know that, and those individuals need to be held accountable. And I would also say that it's interesting that he won't do so, and I wonder why that is. Well, perhaps it's because out of any party, it makes the Liberal Party look bad. Again, he was the one who denied that there was election interference from China, for example. He's the one who denied there was any issue here at all, and yet here we are. So he continues to deny that there's any issue there, but I would suspect that's why he's not releasing the names. So I think we could put this to bed. It's rapidly devolving into some McCarthy witch hunt as a result of the Prime Minister's actions, and I think we can easily clear this up today by releasing the names. Canadians deserve to know, and the Prime Minister should be showing leadership in this regard and ensuring that he's actually taking action on this intelligence. And I would say in the last thing, Mr. Chair, that it's not clear why we're taking intelligence if we're not able to utilize it to ensure that these individuals are held accountable. And if they're semi-witting or unwittingly knowing, then they should know, and they should be informed.
I read the report, the unredacted version of the report of the Committee of Parliamentarians. Before I spoke publicly, and I think it's important for me to explain to my colleagues how I navigated this, How do you obtain top secret security clearance, read information that must by law remain secret, and still talk about it? Well, the answer is you're careful as you navigate. So the notes I plan to use in a press conference, I shared with security agencies. I want my colleagues around the table to know that some things I had intended to say that I thought would be non-controversial and not reveal any secrets included the exact number of people who were considered witting or semi-witting. I repeat again that I do not believe any of our colleagues currently serving in Parliament, at least in terms of the report I read. There may be other information. Certainly the Prime Minister has had other kinds of briefings that I haven't had, but based on the text of the report of the Committee of Parliamentarians, on which our colleagues from the Liberal Party, Bloc Québécois, NDP, and Conservatives put an enormous amount of work. Our colleagues read 33,000 pages of top secret security material and condensed it into a report that they could all stand behind. And then with some deletions and other modifications to make it publicly accessible, that became public information. I was able to read the report unredacted. I stand by every word I said. But before I said a word, because I wasn't gagged, clearly, I was able to talk about it. But I went through my notes with security experts to make sure I didn't inadvertently violate any laws of Canada or inadvertently place at risk any of our intelligence assets. So to my colleagues around the table, I want you to know that I actually edited and changed what I was going to say in a press conference, not taking out names, but even the number of people who might be considered semi-witting, in any way potentially compromised. That's to say, again, I repeat, no one currently serving in Parliament, to my knowledge, in the House of Commons, has been compromised or is serving the interests of a foreign government. There are some people who have been referenced as semi-witting, but even the number, the numerical categorization of how many people might fall in that category, I was told clearly, could not be said publicly without placing at risk the lives of our intelligence assets around the world. I want my colleagues to understand this isn't a game. This isn't politics. I'm not playing games here. I'm telling you how it is when you navigate with top secret security clearance, what you can say and what you can't say. So the amendment to this motion would release all the names sounds grand if you operate in ignorance of the law and in ignorance of how security and intelligence operatives and intelligence and security information gathering operates in the real world where there are bad people. And we have to be careful as members of Parliament not to allow political rhetoric to get in the way of what we do to serve Canadians.